Hi, it's Dave from Megapoints Controllers. Long time since I've made a video. No, we haven't been lazy, we've just been busy. So I thought I'd shoot a quick update to let you know we're still here and give you an idea of where we are moving forwards. So I've literally just finished a run of 7 Mimic panels. They've taken me probably 10 days to make, and there's a couple of things in there I thought I'd take the opportunity to show you, things that you may not have seen before. First of all, I don't know if you know, but we do a temporary Mimic panel, which is just a little sloping front, and it's a temporary home to drop your buttons and lights on if you don't have an actual Mimic panel. And a customer contacted me and said, could I make a fascia for that? And I thought, don't be daft, just get a proper panel, it's easier. But he sent me the drawing, and the drawing was actually quite detailed. Let's have a look. I put it somewhere safe, which means, here we go. So the customer sent me a picture showing the temporary Mimic panel and exactly what he wanted. And I thought, actually, that's quite a clever idea. So here's the panel I made him, with a little diagram of a double slip on it as well, and I hope you'll agree that's rather smart. So well done to the customer, who should remain nameless, for coming up with this idea. And I just thought that's actually rather nice. So this is going to go in the post today. We've made, made quite a few larger panels. Here's a panel that that has a turntable on it. There's a turntable here, and originally what the customer wanted, let's go here. What he wanted was a switch here, toggle switch, to set the turntable direction, forward, reverse. And the switch he had was one of those flat ones that slide, and it would have meant putting holes on the front and generally being in your face. So I talked to the customer, and we fitted a double pole, double throw toggle switch to the MDF layer, and now he's got a fully recessed switchable turntable. There's a button here that it basically is the go button. I don't think it's an indexing turntable, but I think that's rather nice. So where the buttons have, or the panels have our buttons and lights and so on for our system, and toggle switches, I call them a hybrid panel, a bit of everything. But I hope you'll agree that's come out rather nicely. So I'll be shipping this one, I think, today as well, and I hope the customer will be very happy with that. I had a panel from a chap who is a network rail signalling engineer, and let's get the right thing. This was the original diagram. It looks like it's drawn in Hornby E-Link, and it looks quite straightforward until you realise each of the red dots is a signal. Of course, he's a network rail signalling engineer, so he wants it right. And by the time we'd gone through various permutations, we came up with a panel that I'm about to show you. So we went through various permutations, drawing like this, and then we tweaked it some more, a bit of toing and froing, and we ended up, I think this was the final approved artwork for the panel. And then we went off and made it, and here's the actual panel. There's the rear with all the, I call them early learning centre markings, but all the buttonholes are engraved on the back so that you can see them. And the front of the panel is here, and I hope you'll agree, I think it looks rather nice. It's got a root processor on as well. Signals absolutely everywhere, which of course adds to the complexity and the space used, particularly in areas like this where you've got points, crossovers, and signals all over the place. A lot of signals here, a lot round here as well. And he signalled it properly, and he wants a panel to represent that. So I'm very pleased with that. It was a lot of effort to get right, a lot of toing and froing, but at the end of the day, the customer has to sit and look at it all the time. I don't know what's right for him. I can only draw him what I think is right, and then they'll let me know if it's not. And we went through backwards and forwards a couple of times, and it came out rather well. Another panel type I've probably never shown you is this. Looks pretty standard until you see the back, and you see the cutouts for the buttons are rather large. That's because it's for DCC Concepts buttons, so we end up with quite a large requirement for holes, and sometimes we can't always make them on small panels. Sometimes we have to be a bit more realistic about what we can fit. For example, on a crossover here, on our system it's 1 button and 3 and 4 lights. Here it's 4 buttons, so the buttons are larger, so they do take up quite a bit of space. There's one. Here's one that's just come off the laser. It's as yet unpainted, and that's a DCC Concepts style system as well. And you can see here, well, we have to get quite creative when there's a lot going on. And there's another one here. This is another DCC Concepts one, but we had a little bit more breathing room on this. This is a larger panel. DCC Concepts. They're like everything, like buses. They're all in clusters, and they all happen in the same area, and that's the challenge really, is recognizing it and being able to get them all in. I think there's another one somewhere. This one. This is also a DCC Concepts panel, or DCC Concepts buttons. So crossovers are an issue. We basically have to allow another 15 millimeters between tracks. You get big wide tracks where you have crossovers, because it's the only way we can fit them in. They do eat a lot of space. I don't know if you've seen the Making Tracks update from Hornby on YouTube. We've been working with Pete Waterman for this year, 2022's summer exhibition at Chester Cathedral. So he's built another layout from scratch with his team, and it uses exclusively our control electronics. Now, I don't want to announce yet what we've done for various reasons, one of which is the global chip shortage. We're not expecting any microcontrollers this year, and I don't think we'll get any until well into 2023. My orders now with the manufacturer has been put back for about 2.5 years now. Now, I can buy chips on the grey market. They are at least 10 times the price and of dubious quality, so it's just not a road I'm prepared to go down. So that's stopped us from talking about the new things we've done there, but you'll be able to see them in operation at the cathedral, and you'll be able to ask questions. We've got 2 entirely new systems. One is a system based on a CAN bus, and for Pete's Fiddle Yard this year we've got something like 120 blocks on it. So there's a ton of blocks on it, and we've linked it up to something that looks a bit like an NX panel, in that you have the whole sections of road lit up in white when the route is set, and then you have the occupancy showing in red as the locomotives move around it. We've also built an Rfid display and card reader. It's a 4-port unit, so you can connect up to 4 displays on one card, and you can also connect up to 4 readers on one card, and you'll see that in use as well. And that will be showing the DCC loco address as the trains move around the track. That's been installed in the fiddle yard and tested. We also have a wireless system. We've got it working as a prototype. We're just going through the usual hoops of checking whether we need more bandwidth, more range, more whatever, just kicking it as hard as we can on some very dirty, noisy installations just to see how it copes, but it's very encouraging. We're thinking of 2 versions for that, one for indoor use and an outdoor system that will give you several kilometers of range. So if you're running a large garden railway or something that you know, like a 7¼ inch that you've got people on, then you'd be able to command and control basically from anywhere on the layout. Exciting stuff. The Auto Yard is another new product. I think we've done, where are we now? We're in 7th of March, I think, or 8th, maybe the 10th, I don't know. And this year we've done 6 new products. There will be a lot more. They complement what we have. So our existing range will continue to be offered and will continue to be available. And if customers want to fit and forget, then that would be the way to go. But for customers with more sophisticated needs who have large installations or need the ultimate in flexibility and control, then we have the new stuff. New stuff being a technical term, of course. It is really configurable. It's not like anything we've done. We will release it with a JMRI interface at or close to launch time as well. We kind of already had one working. We're just porting it for this. So you'll have a computer interface that is geared for JMRI. And it will also have another mode where it just dumps the data or commands from a PC. So you could theoretically interface it to anything if you're happy to hack it a bit on the PC. So we're kind of doing an open system that lets you in and out. I'd like to talk about those in more detail. I'm dying to, but I can't because the chip shortage, and it's killing us in some respects. Lucky we've got Mimic panels that keep us busy when we can't make boards. In terms of stock, we do have stock, but we are now, for example, take a multi-panel. So when the stock is depleted from in here, unless it's a mainline item like a servo controller or a multi-panel, we'll probably start making products to order. And that's to make our stock of chips go further so that we don't rush off and make them the wrong product that doesn't sell because we should have made this or that. So we're just keeping our options open. It's trying times. Everywhere we look, it's whatever. So that's where we are at the moment in the end of the first week in March. I'll do another video after, or just on the run up to the Chester Cathedral outing, where we'll show you some behind the scenes stuff on Pete's layout as it's being put through its paces. We'll be focusing obviously on the electronics and the Mimic panels. There are large Mimic panels for the public to see this time, so they'll be up and all the public can see what's going on the layout. And there'll be smaller panels that are effectively satellites of that. I think the way it's worked is with the LEDs on that, they've done 1 LED per foot of track on the master panel, the big one, and the small repeaters which have the switches on or buttons for people to operate, that's 1 LED per 4 feet. So they've done it to a different scale, and as routes are thrown and devices are operated, you'll see the panel change. So hopefully that's enough to whet your appetite for 2022. What can I say? Prices continue to scare me in terms of input prices. I have a very low stock of servo mounts now. I'm going to have to buy some more wood. So that I think has doubled the cost. So expect to see a significant increase to servo mounts from the end of this month or next month. And that's being reflected across the board. I think anything, you know, if you blink, it's at a different price. We just raised our postage prices on Royal Mail by like £1. But I think we're still losing out based on, I mean, we're on contract to Royal Mail, so they come here, they collect the post, and the problem is the sticker price isn't what you pay, because, you know, we'll pay a price to post something like a large letter, but then they hit us with additional charges now, like surcharges for fuel and all sorts of things that are on top of that. So constantly evaluating and looking to see what happens there. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again with an update on Pete Waterman's layout and focusing on the electronics we've made for it just before he goes live in the summer. And you can come along and see that at Chester Cathedral. And I think if you look on Facebook, it's Making Tracks is what you'd search for, and I'll probably will put a link to it on our website at some point as well.